I'm telling you, if this day was any prettier, they'd name it Jacob. Let me say that much right now.
Yeah, buddy.
Welcome to The Cauldron, a podcast hosted by Ed Bolden Greer, the creator of Ravensvale. In each episode, Ed will have free-flowing conversations about life, culture, and personal growth. Expect to hear from storytellers, authors, experts, life gurus, thought leaders, and influencers. The Cauldron is a place where concoctions of a lot of ideas are brewed down to potions that are sometimes important and useful, sometimes eccentric and bizarre, but always just what you need. The Cauldron podcast may contain explicit language and thematic elements not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
This is Jacob Garner. Welcome to the latest episode of the Ravensvale Cauldron podcast. Today, we were initially planning to dive deep into the tragedy of the dismantling of DEI initiatives. However, given the current climate of extreme unrest in the United States and the overwhelming hate being expressed by the immoral minority towards marginalized communities, we've decided to put that topic on hold until we can see how things will unfold. In these turbulent times, we feel the need to do more and stand in solidarity with those being severely affected. We believe in creating a safe space for open dialogue, support, and healing. Our mission is to amplify the voices of the marginalized and shine a light on the injustices they face. We will continue to share stories, provide resources, and offer a platform for those who need it the most. So we thought today we would just talk. No plan, just an organic, authentic conversation and laugh. So without further ado, let's get going.
Hey, Jacob. How's it going, man?
Man, it's going. It's going.
So, listeners, we aren't going to do what we were going to do. We have struggled all week coming up with the things that we want to say about DEI in America.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a couple comments just to get us going, and we're going to talk about some fears and some funny things and all that. But I want to say, just off the bat, I am so deeply disappointed with Target.
Yeah.
It just, well, we'll get into that. What's been going on, man?
You know, outside of screaming into the void and reading all the shit that's been going on and how that's going to affect mine and my loved ones' lives, I've been enjoying the weather, though.
Well, weather's been a little cool for my taste.
Yeah, but it's going to start warming up soon.
Yeah, it's been pretty.
Yeah.
It's just been colder than I like.
I'm telling you, if this day was any prettier, they'd name it Jacob. Let me say that much right now.
Yeah, buddy.
What about you? Anything going on with you, man?
You know, not really. No. I mean, we're prepping for the annual meeting and getting all that ready, you know, and we got construction starting at our house really soon. So,
just been kind of jumping around like a holding pattern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I guess for the most part.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, man. I am very much looking forward to my vacation. I will say that much. Aren't you guys taking a vacation this year? Finally, like you're finally going to use your honeymoon funds?
We don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be later in the year. We just found out we're traveling to Louisville, Kentucky in March during my birthday. So we're going up there for an extra day. We're going up there for a meeting.
I was going to ask business or pleasure.
Business.
But it's a nice drive.
It is.
If you guys are taking like 640 at Knoxville.
We'll be driving all the way up and back.
I forget, do you guys like bourbon and scotch?
We're not the biggest bourbon and scotch people. Jared likes scotch a little more than me. Of course, he's Scottish.
Yeah.
I'm an ouzo person.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair. Well, I was going to say, you've been to Asheville.
Yeah.
Like, you know, all the microbreweries for IPAs?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that in Louisville, but with bourbon.
Right.
Like, it's crazy. Me and Zach went up there to go watch a concert in 2019.
I think we've talked about that.
Yeah, it was nuts. I mean, just like they served beer, but if you ordered a beer, they looked at you like you were stupid. They're like, you're in Louisville, right?
Yeah, Louisville's is a great city, and I like being up there. And in fact, they have one of the horror cons that we want to go to and be a part of up there.
Yeah.
So
I highly recommend if you're going to go and you're going to get scotch anywhere, there's this place called the Alchemy Bar, which was really, really dope. They had all these like runes and stuff all over the glasses, like etched into it. It had a cool like hipster vibe to it. And they had like fun drinks.
You and your brother are truly the definition of hipsters.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. What band were you going to go see? I mean, we've already talked about this in the Jacob's haunting part, but
they were a folk.
No, that was the Jacob Garner episode.
Yeah, the Jacob Garner episode. That was that was like what, 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
They were a band who's changed their name, but they were at the time called Andrew Jackson Jihad. They're a folk punk band. Very politically motivated, active band. They now go by AJJ, but it was really funny because they released a new song that they played that night, which was basically just shit-talking Mitch McConnell, which was really funny because they were in Louisville. So they were
absolutely.
Let's torch his ass.
Absolutely. We've been talking a lot about numbers over the past couple of weeks. So I don't want to talk about any numbers today, if that's okay.
No, yeah, I'm good on that.
Fills my head with pain.
Yeah.
I will say that I've been connecting with all of my friends most recently, and people that don't live in this state. And as you know, because of the positions that I'm in, I have friends all over the world, really, and. I've talked with all of my friends that I can get a hold of in the United States and some in Canada. And I've been talking a lot about what's going on. And even though we're not going to dive deep into DEI, I think we have an incredible opportunity to talk right now. All of those people that I've been talking to, and it runs the gambit. Like there's women and people of color, queer individuals, Jewish individuals, legal immigrants, people who are here because they fear being in their own country, and they're here on asylum. All of those people are talking to me about their fear and their pain.
Oh, yeah.
And, when all of this started right after inauguration, and we knew it was coming.
Oh, yeah. I got to say, I did not expect it to be this quick, like one right after another after another.
Now, I'm gonna say some things that are out in public today.
Okay.
Like, I woke up to, they've changed the flag on the official .gov websites. No, they haven't. We have a family member that works with government agencies. They changed the flag to a non-star flag. It's a representative flag logo, icon to mark that it's an official U.S. website back in 2020.
Yeah, and see, I think you're talking about something that's very important. There are legitimate things that are happening right now that we should be worried about, but let's not get lost in the weeds and make mountains out of molehills.
Let's not create a narrative when there's not one. Let's focus on the real narratives.
Yeah.
But I just want to put that out there that happened back in 2020, and web graphics and your phone graphics are totally different graphics.
Yep. Yes, they are.
So, but it's really important for Jacob and I, for everyone, every marginalized community, individual, as well as people who are not marginalized. We're here to create a safe space.
Yeah.
And we're here to advocate and give a voice to everyone.
Especially if you...
Unless they're Nazis.
Yeah, unless
KKK.
you're Nazis.
which we'll talk about.
I definitely want to just say, too, there may be some listeners listening right now that don't have people in their life that they can talk to, right? And you kind of feel like you're on an island surrounded by the ocean. I mean, guys, you can head over to www.ravensville.com, find all of our social media, and you don't even have to talk about the podcast. You can just, I don't give a shit if you just want to send me a message and vent and be like, I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, you all can DM us and we'll respond. I will tell you, my co-host here is an absolute idiot when it comes to Facebook.
Yes, I am.
You can get at him on Blue Sky.
Or my website.
Yeah, or the website. And, we're here for you. We're willing to talk, and just know that we're also talking about doing a town hall, safe space town hall meeting where you could sign into our Zoom town hall and be able to talk with us and do that periodically. Jacob, I want to say how proud I am of you. Jacob started a queer-focused, it's not exclusive, but a queer-focused safety course is how I'm going to refer to it.
Yeah.
There's other parts to it. It's sponsored by Appalachian Outreach. Here in this area, and I'll let you just talk about that a little bit because you are the founder of that, you and your brother. So
I think it was when I was actually getting back from the last cruise that I went on with Zach that I've been doing mixed martial arts for 10 plus years. I crossed the 10-year mark last October, and I asked myself, man, why can I not get my friends and my partners to do this sport with me? Like, they'll try it out and then they just don't stick with it. And
I mean, Jacob, not everyone likes getting hit in the head.
That's true. But I identified something that was, definitely a huge barrier for a lot of them, that they didn't feel like it was a safe space for them. They were treated sometimes differently, not overtly, but passive-aggressively.
Yep.
They were in an environment where they were in a room with people that didn't reflect who they were. Your typical Joe Rogan types were their classmates, and they didn't feel comfortable, and I could tell. So I was talking...
Why would they?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's almost as though the environment, you go there to get beat up, and if you're partnered with somebody during the sparring who is a transphobe or a homophobe, it gives them permission to hit you.
Yeah, tee off. And I will say,
well, let me say one thing first, because I want you to talk about the class because it's important. But this is a safe space. This class that you've created is in a safe space. The location of the class is not divulged. You have to be vetted, so to speak. You have to call Jacob or get in contact with Jacob to get directions and to know where it's at. It's not always at the same place because of availability.
Yeah.
And so Jacob and his team do a great job at creating a safe space, but they go above and beyond in making sure that the place is confidential and safe.
Yeah. And it really highlights an important area that a lot of queer folk, can identify with, which is, there's a target on their back, and now more than ever, it feels like. And I kind of sat around and I thought to myself, well, why isn't there a class where these people feel safe to train? And then it hit me, why don't you teach it? Why don't you create it? Because we can sit around and say, it's a shame that there's not a class for us, and then just throw our hands up, or we can roll our sleeves up and get out there and do it. It's a overused, I think, sometimes saying, but it rings true. Be the change you want to see in the world. And I made the change, and I can confidently say that this class is growing, especially with the climate that it is. It sucks because I've used this analogy before. It feels like I'm selling buckets of water and the town's on fire. So business is great for me, but it sucks that it also is, you know?
Yep. If you all are interested in finding out more about the empowerment through self-defense class that Jacob and his brother Zach created, you can go to jacob-garner.com and click on the self-defense tab on the menu bar. That's also giving you more information about Appalachian Outreach and how you can help. But you can also click on the contact button, and you can email Jacob directly.
Yeah. And, you know, I do read all the emails. I will say...
And responds to them, unlike a lot of people.
Yeah. I will say with the flyers that were found all over Knoxville, I'm not sure when the listeners are going to hear this, but just recently they found a bunch of flyers for the KKK. I guess they're doing a little membership drive. I guess numbers are down a little bit or something. And there were a lot of people that shot me DMs when I posted it on my Instagram story and said, okay, I need to go learn some self-defense.
Yeah, I've had so many people reach out wanting to know what they can do. And I want to say that the KKK of today is not exclusively white supremacist group.
Yeah.
They don't like women. They don't like people of color. They certainly don't like queer individuals.
They don't like anybody that's not Christian.
That's not a fundamentalist, conservative Christian and white. And so I've been doing mini lectures and micro lectures to students and staff and anybody that'll listen. This is probably not a threat.
No.
It's something to be knowledgeable of.
Yeah.
And it's also something to take into consideration. And I think we have to take any threat like this as a threat. But I think that and I'm going to use a catchphrase, in these turbulent times, I think that it calls for every individual, and I think we're all at risk.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, to be mindful when you go out in public, to be present, to be aware of your surroundings. I know that in the self-defense classes you teach being aware of your surroundings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You never know who's lurking.
No.
And who, just the other day, I heard a story. It just happened this past weekend that a guy who was driving to Morristown and a girl that was driving to Morristown, not in the same car, that he pulled a gun on her.
Jesus.
Because he perceived she cut him off.
Dude, people are losing their minds.
People are getting bold. Last night, over at the school, you had just left, and I heard a racket out in the atrium.
Yeah.
And I walked out, and there was about 6 guys that were carrying 2 big boxes, and they were just being really loud, and the leader was a white redneck.
Classic.
Okay, and that's a judgment.
Yeah.
But in this case, you'll see why I say that. And I very politely and very calmly said, "Hey guys, can you lower your voices? We have patients here that are getting massaged." And the guy was like, he looked at me and he kind of bounced his chest forward toward me and said, "We're just delivering furniture."
Yeah, I didn't ask what you were doing. I was asking you to do it quieter.
I was just asking for a courtesy to customers in a building that you don't belong to.
Yeah, exactly.
You're providing a service, yes, but you don't have to be an ass. People are getting bold. But Jacob and I have for about 6 months now, we have people that we love deeply in our lives. And not just our partners, not just the people that we are in love with, but people that we love who fall into every marginalized group. And we are making a concerted effort to not freak those people out.
No.
Because we'll handle it.
Yeah.
And not just we'll handle it, but we're going to make sure everybody's okay as much as is within our power. And Jacob and I both came to separately, but then we came together, came to the decision that we have to be the light. We have to hold up. It might get bad.
Yeah.
But it's not permanent.
No.
And it might get bad, but we can make it better. We are the people. Okay? We the people are the people who can make it better. And us not doing our civic duty by not getting involved is part of this problem.
Oh, yeah. The passivity is what led to authoritarianism in every historical example you want. And I will say, these fuckers are getting bold. Me and Ed are getting bold too.
Oh, yeah.
I am not going to shy away and cower. I'm keeping my head low, but I'm keeping my eyes up.
My eyes
and
are
wide
open. And let me say, Jacob and I don't consider ourselves badasses.
No.
I mean, Jacob kind of does when he's fighting in the gym, but he's a pussy. But we don't consider ourselves badasses. But we are more than capable of taking a punch.
Oh, yeah.
And I have told my entire staff, if somebody comes on campus and they're trying to bully people or whatever, get behind me.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about bullies, man, you stand up to them once, usually, and that takes care of it. So I'm breeding a philosophy in 2025 to bully the bullies, actually, in my personal life.
Yep. You said something as we were preparing to go off script here.
Yeah.
Not part of the script, but you said something that I want you to re-say for everybody. And it was that Mr. Rogers quote.
Yeah. Yeah. So Mr. Rogers, he retired from his show, but there's this fantastic, he was like giving a speech or something to accept an award, one of many that he rightfully deserved. And it happened right after the September 11th attacks. And Mr. Rogers was talking to all of us, and I guess the kid versions of ourselves that watched him growing up.
He was in testimony to Congress.
Oh, was it Congress? Yeah. And he said that when he was a young boy and he would see something that scared him on television, his mom always said, look for the helpers because there's always somebody helping. And I think what we need to do collectively is stop giving so much attention to the pieces of shit doing their things right now. Look at the people that are resisting. Look at the people that are helping.
I want to talk about one part of DEI because I think that it's important, or not one component, but a part of this that we had kind of been planning on talking about. I find it both amazing in a good way and cowardice in another way. The corporations who are falling out or taking themselves out of DEI or canceling their DEI programs. On the one hand, nothing's changing. They're rebranding, relabeling it. They're not going to change anything. On the other hand, they're cowards. Mm-hmm. They're bowing down to the oligarchs in D.C.
Yeah.
Just
to kiss the ring.
Just to kiss the ring. And so, I find it very encouraging, but angering. It makes me angry. Angering?
Angering.
It's angering me that organizations like Target and Walmart, Sam's Club, which is part of Walmart, and the list goes, not as many as you'd think, but enough to be impactful, and the blame that DEI is getting about things. 47 actually said that the plane crash, the military plane crash that happened was DEI's fault.
It's just like a blanket boogeyman. I mean, shout out to the companies. There's too many to list on the podcast, but like Kroger, Costco,
Walgreens,
the Bolden Group.
the Bolden Group.
We refuse to dismantle our DEI initiatives because I remember this quote it was actually from a rapper named J. Cole, but it goes, stand for something or you'll fall for anything.
Well, I think that was before him.
Yeah, probably, but I heard J. Cole say it.
You know, since we're talking about rappers,
Yeah.
Eminem just got a bunch of awards.
Yeah. Dude, he's huge anti-Trump, dude. He doesn't give a shit.
He's not only anti-Trump, but he is anti-hate.
Yeah.
Everybody thought that he was like a homophobe when he rapped about it to bring awareness to it. And now he's like a component of the solution.
Yeah, he's actually like close friends with Elton John too.
Yeah,
apparently
they talk on a daily basis.
Did you hear what he bought him for one of his weddings that Elton John had? He bought him and his husband
Well, hold on. One of his weddings?
Yeah.
He only had a wedding.
Oh, I wasn't sure. But apparently Eminem bought as like a gift for their wedding, he bought him and his partner like diamond encrusted cock rings, which I thought was fucking hilarious.
You got to know Eminem. By the way, that wasn't the only gift he gave them, but that was an inside personal joke that they had. I will say that I'm really glad we didn't talk about the DEI that we had imagined today.
No. I mean, because when we came up with the episode list at the beginning of the season, we
were so enthused.
We actually thought there would be a different administration than the current one in, so we were excited that, okay, cool, look at all this shit. And now I think, Ed, you and I made the right call because by the time this episode comes out, who knows what else has either changed for better or for worse,
Yeah, I mean...
It's hitting a moving target, capturing smoke.
I want to talk a little bit about just things that are coming up.
Yeah.
We have FrankenCon coming up in May.
Super excited.
The folks over at FrankenCon are just phenomenal to work with. They are going to be on our podcast soon, we hope. And then later in the year, we have CreepyCon, which is always a thrill. And we're doing something a little different there this year.
Yeah.
And we're excited about that. And then I would be remiss if I didn't talk about our favorite festival, Appalachian Horror Fest. And I've got all the details. Well, I don't have any of the details. I just have the dates and stuff. We have moved Appalachian Horror Fest to the convention center at the Holiday Inn Cedar Bluff.
Yeah.
8,500 something square feet, maybe a little bigger than that.
It's pretty spacious because I went there for an anime convention like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yep. And we've rented all of their space.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. And it's going to be on Saturday, October 11th. Times to be announced. We have a whole day-long show of musicians and maybe a couple of films. And then in the evening,
vendors.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm not there yet.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me. And then our storytelling event will happen in the evening, just like it always has. And proud to announce that Jacob and I did such a good job last year. We've been asked to host again this year. We're excited about that.
You're welcome to my adoring fans.
You've got one fan.
I did that ad read for the Mexican restaurant, and people were in tears. They were weeping at the end of it, thinking about the margaritas.
They were. And let me just say, we're thankful to our sponsors and donors, even though they threatened that if you did the ads next year, they would not sign up. No, I'm just joking about that. But Appalachian Horror Fest is bigger and better. We are having vendors this year.
Yeah.
And we've got some really good vendors that are going to be out there with a lot of neat stuff. We're going to have a Ravensville room.
Oh, it's going to be badass.
Where we might have some merch and some free giveaway stuff and maybe some contests.
A kissing booth?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because we don't want people to get sick. So we're very excited about that. And I'm very excited about Jacob's vacation.
Same here.
If you all remember, I do a weird episode while Jacob's gone, and I'm going to have a co-host this year, but it's going to be a surprise guest.
Oh.
Or two.
Whoa.
You remember when you were a special guest and that's how you got this
Yeah,
job?
I know. Yeah. Hopefully I come back and I still have a job.
Teach you to go away.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm going to come back and everything's going to be changed. Locks on the door. You're like, what the fuck?
You'll never be able to get into the G-spot again.
I haven't for years.
But yeah, we're extremely happy to be involved in those things this year.
There's a lot of things that if you really look at it, that you can be excited about in 2025.
Absolutely.
It's not all doom and gloom.
It is not. And so with that,
Yeah.
well, yeah.
There you
So
go.
you have anything else you want to say?
Yeah, if anybody's interested in that self-defense class, I just want to reiterate one thing. It's not a fight club. Me and Zach have a very safe, structured class. We have gym equipment that you can use if you don't want to invest in it yourself. Again, reach out to me on my social media. Email me, DM me on my Instagram or Blue Sky. You can find all that on my website as well as the Ravensville. So,
Family, as we come to the close of this episode of the Ravensville Cauldron podcast, our hearts are heavy, but our resolve is stronger than ever. We know these are incredibly challenging times for many of you, and we want you to know that you're not alone. In a world where hatred and division seem to be on the rise, we're here to remind you that there is also immense power in love, empathy, and solidarity. We stand with you shoulder to shoulder as we face these turbulent times together. Let us be the voice of reason, compassion, and hope in the face of adversity. Remember, we are a community, and together we can create a space where everyone is valued and respected. Let's continue to uplift and support each other, sharing our stories and experiences and advocating for a world where every individual is treated with dignity and respect. Thank you all for being a part of their journey today. Please stay safe, stay strong, be present, and know that we are here with you every step of the way. Until next episode, take care of yourself and take care of each other. Now, family, you adults have a few chores to do. Go on over to ravensville.com and see about doing your chores on social media. Follow us on all the social media platforms we made available just for you folks. Like, listen, subscribe, and follow wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you don't mind, please leave us a good rating and a kind comment. You can find the Ravensville Cauldron podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Just search for Ravensville Cauldron Podcast and hit the follow button so you can stay up to date with the latest episodes. So until next time, family,
see you soon.
The Ravensville Cauldron is a production of Small Raven Media. Today's episode was hosted by Ed Bolden Greer with co-host Jacob A. Garner. Audio engineering and sound design by Nick DeVan at Nicky D Sound. Copyrighted 2025, Small Raven Media. All rights reserved.